Well, we know that the sensors that were loaded on the original balloon that was shot down off Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, were not weather sensors. You know, we all talk about imaging, and the press is focused on imaging, and I think it's important to think about what a stationary balloon loaded with quantum sensors could actually map. So I believe that those sensors were mapping the gravitational field and the structure of the Earth, and it can do that down about a kilometer. Do you remember where it was sitting over Montana? It was sitting over our Minuteman missile base, their ICBM base. So I think that Chinese spy balloon was mapping the underground architecture of our one of our most valuable assets, and the Minuteman ICBM missiles in Montana. So, you know, this is a problem for Sino-U.S. relations. I mean, we just had Congress vote 419-0 on condemning the brazen Chinese spy balloon. I'm not sure we could get this Congress to vote 419-0 on the sun setting in the West. So it is one place where our lawmakers are starting to really think more about our national security. The direct incursion into our airspace, that's why the Biden administration decided to shoot it down. We can't be armchair quarterbacks about whether we should have shot it down over Montana or the Midwest or the East Coast. I think they really wanted to wait until they could shoot it down over fairly shallow water, and we had catch boats out there. So I think our government actually did its job. We sent jamming signals up to the balloon as soon as we found it, and we're now studying the contents of what we could reclaim at the moment. And, you know, when we talk about what relations between the U.S. and China are, there's still this big gap between Wall Street and the IC. You know, the Director of National Intelligence submits a report every year to Congress detailing the next year's threats, the largest threats to U.S. national security. China's topped that list for many years. And yet on Wall Street here, we can't wait to buy the next IPO in Hong Kong of a Chinese company. At some point in time, Joe, this has got to stop. They play an asymmetric warfare game. I mean, hell, they wrote the book on asymmetric warfare, and we allow them access to our social media. We allow them access to buying big swaths of land between our most active military bases and our borders. We allow Huawei to sell telecom equipment cheaper than it costs to manufacture it in rural areas around all of our military bases. We still haven't ripped all the Huawei equipment out around all of our rural military bases. The Chinese government exploits every nook and cranny of our openness, Joe. And what we've got to figure out at some point in time is that we've made a bet on China back when Kissinger decided to go over there in the early 70s and pivot from Russia to China. And we made that bet hoping that if we invited their students into our universities and we invite their people to travel in the West, that they would see a better way of living and a better way of growing an economy. And all they've done is go the other way with Xi Jinping and his death grip on the population, running it as a totalitarian, almost dictator. And so it was a good bet at the time. It turned out to be a bad bet. And now on Wall Street and corporate America, what we've got to do is start going the other way and not relying on a government that doesn't share our values, that is clearly the #1 threat to our national security. Wall Street must wake up.